We moved to Arcadia for the schools, right? It was between Arcadia, San Marino, La Cañada, and South Pasadena. This summer, each of those other school districts formulated a reopening plan and publicly shared it. We were told not to worry about Arcadia's lack of plan and that it would be taken care of in the fall. Now, all 3 of those other school districts have received waivers to have some level of reopening, in addition to about 20 other districts in LA County. We are not on that list. All I'm asking is for you guys to make a public plan that you share with the community quickly. Tell us what your plan is to reopen for the people who want it. Not everybody wants to go back to school. Not all teachers want to go back to school. But I've heard from some teachers that they do want to go back to school. I've heard from many, many parents that they would like some level of allowing their kids to interact at school again. Please, make a plan and share it with the public and communicate. I would love to see some level of reopening this spring. I realize logistically that may be difficult. I realize you may have pushback from some of the teachers. I know many of the teachers are, though, champing at the bit to get back. Thank you very much for letting me comment.
Okay, now it's the COVID-19 department updates. Dr. Van Osdol.
I think I'm going to address some of those issues that were brought up tonight. I hope to address some of those issues and talk about what a plan looks like specifically. The plans that many people speak about and talk about schools, we are on now our 5th waiver since the lockdown started, meaning there's been 5 different variations of waivers that have been schools have been asked to do a lot of work that would involve an entire community to do. And none of those plans, none of those waivers would change at all where we are today. It's unfortunate that our numbers, we continue in LA to be in the top tier. We've been in the purple tier since the beginning, and we continue to be until we fall under that 25 cases per 100,000 people. Nothing is going to change, and all the planning in the world is not going to change those numbers and those restrictions. I understand the frustration, and people often want to act when they don't have control and want to see, like let's create a plan. We don't know the rules. The facts are the rules are changing every day. In fact, the waiver that people keep referring to no longer exists. That was a county thing that then canceled theirs and it went back to the state. So now there's just requirements to meet. Of course, we're not allowed to do that yet because of the cases and being in the purple. So we are committed and we continue to look, and I want to be clear about that. We want to be back on our campuses in person with those wraparound services the way that we have designed school. We want that more than anything. But we will do that when we get the green light that it is safe, and we can do that in a sustainable way that doesn't create the whiplash that goes back and forth, that we open one day and then have to close the other. So I want to be specific in explaining some of those restrictions that exist right now that we are still under as of today. 3 COVID cases on a campus would create a hard shutdown of that campus. So that you can imagine the difficulty that would put place on a school right now and would cause more of a disruption than what we're currently in with the virtual setting. So when I talk about that sustainable return, that's not just fluff. That is specifically connected to teaching and learning and our ability to provide services. The second thing I want to mention is that there's a lot of talk back and forth and people pointing fingers about groups that want to come back or don't want to come back. Is it safe? Is it not safe? This is a personnel issue to operate schools. Right now, due to the pandemic, school districts there's a sub shortage. We don't have access to subs. As soon as an adult has been exposed on our campus, a teacher, support staff, whether it happened at school or somewhere else, is still required by law to quarantine for 10 days. That means no teacher on the campus. If we have an outbreak and a student that's exposed to a class or multiple teachers, you can imagine at a high school where it could be 6, 7 teachers. We're talking about lots of teachers being out for upward of 10 days beyond, with no ability to manage that. And so what's happening is school districts are opening, saying it's safe, we can go back. They're doing all the social distancing and then going back into lockdown because of the inability to staff right now. So you may not see a plan that is posted on a wall that says, here's all the things that we're going to do. We don't know the rules. We do not know at this time when we're allowed to come back, how many kids will be allowed in a classroom. That changes by the week, how the distance, the type of masks that we'll have to wear. All of these things continue to change with each iteration of waiver that we've been asked to do. We've decided, made a choice not to do that because we don't control those variables. And at this point, 5 waivers later, there is no waiver. And now it's just when you can meet those requirements. Again, something that we're not even able to do at this time because we're in LA. So I share in your frustration, and I am confident that when we get that green light and when we are able to return in a safe manner and we can sustain that, we can move quickly and we can move confidently, we can communicate, and we will move forward together. And I am looking forward more than anyone to that day coming as soon as possible.
Just want to make a quick comment. I've been getting this question a lot from parents because the information's out in public now. Why is South Pasadena, San Marino, La Cañada offering these waivers, but Arcadia is not?
Yeah, so that's what I was referring to earlier. It's actually right now there is no waiver. So that system is gone. That was at the county. And now it's just meeting the restrictions once so you're hearing, like, if a school district's announcing that they're going to go back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they're guessing and anticipating that because of the trends are coming down, the numbers, that we may, but remember now they've been doing these plans and predicting this since last March, that we may hit that and come down to the red tier and be allowed to come back. So that's what I was referencing, is when they say they have a plan to come back and they've set a date. Right now, they don't control that. That's not allowed. We can't do that. So they're hoping and guessing that that's going to happen. When that happens, and we really do come down to the red tier and we're able to come back, and our teachers have the vaccinations and our staff, we'll be back. We'll be back with everyone else. So that's the answer to that.
Are we planning to send up some sort of survey to parents to see who wants to be back versus the ones who want virtual, as well as the teachers in terms of if they want to come back or if they want to do virtual? Are we going to send something out earlier this time? Because I think for most parents, the frustrations be able to plan the next school year. I think having to do another round is going to be extremely exhausting. And I think a lot of parents are giving up. I hate to say that, but you know, it's not an easy process doing a full-time job, homeschooling at the same time. I mean, our teachers are amazing, but as a parent, we're exhausted.
Yeah, I'm with you because I'm one of them. I'm also doing that. And let me be clear though that if I'm any parent, absolutely, I'm still trying to get back this school year. So let's be clear about that. Next year, I have every expectation that you should be planning on being back in person in our schools.
I mean, do we have enough stuff in play to make the teachers feel secure to go back and on campus in terms of like safety, COVID safety guidelines, in terms of like being prepared with the equipment, the materials that we need to get started? I mean, I think
can-
as a parent, that's the frustration I'm getting from a lot of parents, because I am the PT president. So I do get a lot of responses and a lot of requests in terms of like, why are all these schools open, but we're not? Or why are all these schools having these options of hybrid options? And we're not even offering that at all.
Yeah.
So as a parent, I'm asking you, but every time I respond back to them, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, this is where we are. So I think that's the frustration that a lot of parents are feeling right now.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, most of those parents that are talking about other schools are not in LA. So let's be clear that anyone not in LA have been back, and they've been back for months. And I talked to all those superintendents, San Bernardino, Orange County. And the reason I'm talking to them is I'm learning so that when we're able to go back, we know what's working, what are best practices. As of this moment, it doesn't matter if we have a plan, if we have anything. We are in the purple tier. We are not allowed to open school, period. That's where we are. And when we can, we will be working. So. Why are they opening? And if you look at their plans, first of all, again, they're just plans and hoping to open. Based on the restrictions, but by opening, what they mean is they're going to offer their maybe TK to 3 and an opportunity to come in for a couple hours in the afternoon with supplemental staff to do some enrichment. So, but what gets out is, oh, they're going back or they're back. And, I think we also have to be realistic with people to know what does that mean and look like. And they're not doing that by choice. They're trying to live within those restrictions that they know are in place, and that's all they can do. But even that level of frustration, you could say we're going back, and for many parents, that would not be an option to be able to drop off and pick up within a couple-hour period. So we also have to be realistic about what does that even mean when you say you're coming back. It doesn't mean life as we knew it before the pandemic. So.
Some of the schools that are open or about to open include Palos Verdes, Redondo, Hermosa, El Segundo, Torrance, La Cañada. San Marino's opening in 2 weeks. And there are private schools locally that have also opened, and Holy Family's about to open. So
in mid-November, we submitted a waiver to open TK2. That waiver was approved. Beginning of December, we asked for the health department to come out and pay a visit to the school sites. Schools may open when cases fall below 25 cases per 100,000. It's believed, based on what Dr. Farrar has reported, that the cases will drop below 25 next Tuesday when the state provides its new adjusted case rate. So before you tonight is an action item for your consideration to open up grades preschool through 2nd grade, special education, as well as general education.
I believe we're ready for a vote. Ms. Carroll, could you please take a roll call vote?
Dr. Bashian.
Aye.
Dr. Colreth.
Yes.
Dr. Kipke.
aye.
Dr. Martinez Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Rob.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for that discussion. I know this is a difficult decision, but I will once again sort of say what Zahir had said, that this is not something that was rash. This is something that we've laid out and methodically, judiciously looked at over a series of months. And with the help of many medical experts from Children's Hospital Los Angeles, Harbor UCLA, UCLA, and of course this evening with Dr. Galley. So we have our community and our experts who've been so willing to weigh in and share their expertise to thank.